Hi YouTube. I've been asked a few times about my skincare routine. I have done a previous video about my nighttime skin routine in terms of, the different cleansing, exfoliating serums, moisturizer, general routine. But I wanted to talk really today about some specific products that I've been trying for a couple of months. I'd say it was probably April when I bought quite a few products from the Sunday Riley range, and I've been alternating them with a couple of retinol based products from Dr. Brandt that I'd actually bought a while ago and just haven't used. So I've had a good go at these products now, and thought I'd just give you my thoughts in case you're interested. The Sunday Riley range is an American range. It's quite pricey. It's not really in many stores. I've certainly bought online, but it's readily available online. Curiously, if you're a Caroline Hirons fan, and I know some people are, she was all over this range 18 months ago, singing its praises loudly. And then there were a couple of curious comments in videos and blog posts of her saying that she really didn't approve of the range now. And I don't know what that was all about. Probably sponsorship, who knows. Anyway, I had a couple of samples initially of Good Genes, which is this product. It's exfoliating product basically, but it's a lactic acid exfoliator. And I had a generous sample. Well, it was just a little tube actually in one of those beauty bags that I get. I think it might have been Space NK, it might have been Cult Beauty. And it lasted me for ages, and I really liked it. So I thought I'd invest in a full-size treatment, and you can see I've done pretty well with this. I use a variety of exfoliating products, primarily lactic acid ones. I also have a Paula Wexler wash, which I'm quite fond of, and I've used Dermalogica lactic cleansers. This goes on not as a kind of cleanser, but as a serum, either on its own or under your night cream. I tend to use it on its own when I use it. Yeah, I like it. It's not irritating. Well, certainly not for me, and I have moderately sensitive skin, not enormously sensitive skin in the way some people seem to be. I don't have rosacea or anything like that. I do suffer from eczema, as I've talked about before, not on my face. I'm not particularly sensitive to fragrance. It's other irritants, but this doesn't irritate at all, and just does give I'd say a kind of smoothing effect. It's said to give a brightening, refining, plumping effect. I don't get the plumping, but I definitely get the kind of smoothing, possibly brightening. I can't say I've noticed it evening out hyperpigmentation, but it's a good, I feel, basic lactic acid exfoliator for those of us who now prefer those over any kind of abrasive scrub, really. So it's pricey for that. You can use it as a mask. I don't use it like that because I think it's kind of too pricey for that, because you have to put it on thicker and wash it off. As I say, I like to use it effectively as a serum. I like the smell. It's a kind of vaguely citrusy smell, but does it for me. So that was kind of a no-brainer. And then I think I was trying to get over a spend limit. So I also decided to use their Bionic anti-aging cream. I really, really like this. You can see I've used up quite a bit since April, but, not too much given it's an expensive product. I find it to be a really comforting night product. I occasionally use it in the morning as well if I'm feeling a bit dry, but I tend to use it just at night because it hasn't got any SPF in it. It's a lotion rather than a cream, pump action, of course, which I like, but it's quite a thick, sticky lotion. Your skin definitely immediately feels moist, but more importantly, it looks refreshed in the morning. Now, I have to say, there's no magic ingredients in this particularly that I can see. It's got COQ10, which, gets reasonable reports in some surveys, I believe. The ingredient list doesn't get a good write-up on what's her name? The famous Paula's Choice site. I've forgotten her surname, but Paula's Choice anyway. Website. She says, it hasn't got particularly good ingredients for the price. I don't know. I'm not a chemist. I'm just a kind of reasonably informed user, and I think she's probably right about that. Although, I always take some of those recommendations unless they give, clear description of why something isn't good for you, with a pinch of salt. Number one, because she has an absolute thing about any fragrance or essential oils and says they're irritants. Well, I think chemically that may be right, but I mean, they don't irritate a lot of people and they don't irritate me. And secondly, of course, she's got something to sell, i.e. her own skincare range. That doesn't, of course, mean what she's saying isn't perfectly valid, but it does mean you have to come to an opinion of what she's saying on the basis that she has some, subjective reason for critiquing other people's products. Anyway, so that was a plus for me, and I like those two products. I'm also much more recently using the Start Over Active Eye Cream because this was, again, a free gift in a multiple purchase. The interesting thing about this is it's got one of these metal kind of smoothie things, so it feels nice going on. I'm not sure that particularly adds to the efficacy of the cream. Now, the third product was, I think, the most expensive. Actually, the Bionic might be the most expensive, but there's not much in it. And this had rave reviews. Sunday Riley does a number of oils, night oils, and this is the Luna Blue Tansy Retinol Sleeping Night Oil. And this was supposed to be a magic oil that reduces pore size. Well, you can imagine I leapt at that because that's a problem for me. Improves appearance of damaged skin. Well, I do have some sun damage, notwithstanding my best attempts, and helps fight wrinkles. I'm kind of less bothered about that because afraid wrinkles come as we get older, but, all to the good if it does it. Now, oils are very popular at the moment, and what I have to say about this may be subject to the fact that I haven't, so far found a single oil that I actually like as a skin treatment. And maybe that's something about me and my skin, and oils are not for me. I should say I've tried the Kiehl's Midnight Recovery, which is very, very popular, gets good reviews, and I just felt it did nothing at all for me. And now I've given this a good go. I've also tried one of the French brands. The name escapes me at the moment. But then this one. It just doesn't do it for me. And I don't like how it feels. Part of the problem is it's blue. I mean, the bottle here is blue glass. But if I show you opening the dropper, it's all... There we are. It's this fairly violent looking blue inky liquid, and indeed when you put it on you only need a couple of drops. It's fairly viscous. It kind of gives a grey tinge to my skin, which I guess is just the blue, and I gather from reading that isn't natural. That's not blue tansy, the biological ingredient. I've managed to spill some of it there, so I'm just putting it on my face, not that it's doing much harm. The colour is actually added to kind of make it fit in with the blue tansy description. Blue tansy itself is colourless. It's got a faintly kind of aromatherapy smell, the usual kind of smell in these things. I just don't feel that it sinks in. It kind of sticks on the surface of my skin. I definitely didn't notice any reductions in pore size. I don't know whether my pores are so, enormous now that they're never going to reduce or be easy to disguise, but it didn't feel a luxurious product. It didn't seem to make any difference to the texture of my skin, and I just didn't look any better in the morning. Sometimes I thought I looked worse, and it just doesn't do it for me. I will say it's an expensive product. I have used it on and off fairly regularly, and I seem to have made no impression at all on the contents. So if you do like it, it's quite good value in that sense. It lasts for ages. I keep it in the box so that it's nice and dark. Now, just briefly, I have been alternating and more recently, more regularly, using these two. The Glow Duo from Dr. Brandt. These are retinol-based products. The Overnight Resurfacing Serum with a 2% short and long-term time-release retinol complex, and the Day Ruby Crystal Retinol Hydra Cream for the day. I'm always a little wary about wearing retinol products in the day, albeit I do, of course, wear sunscreen because it is supposed to make your skin much more sensitive to sun damage. Neither of these products smell pleasant. They smell faintly astringent, although the smell goes away quite quickly. Neither of them feel unpleasant, but neither of them feel particularly comforting and moisturising. That's particularly true of the Hydra Cream for the morning. But I think that I notice a discernible difference when I use them for a few consecutive nights, in that my skin does look tighter and brighter. These things are all very subjective. I wish I'd taken kind of some photographs close up for my own purposes. I didn't when I started using. I think I will probably use these up and maybe repurchase and try and do something a bit more scientific with it, because I'm always quite sceptical about whether these creams can possibly work. And I understand, of course, that retinol has clinical tests that does prove it's effective in reducing light wrinkling at any event, from what I've read, but I tend to doubt products that are bought over the counter rather than medically grade retinol. But I have to say, these two, whilst not super luxurious, not smelling very nice, and I will say I'm going through them quickly. I seem to need quite a lot because it kind of sinks into the skin, leaving no trace, so you tend to put on more. I don't know whether that's a good or bad thing, but I'm going through it pretty quickly. But I am cautiously impressed. So I don't know where that leaves us really on the skincare. As I say, I've kind of alternated between the two. You're not supposed to wear these all the time, although I haven't sustained any adverse effects when I've worn them for several consecutive nights and days. I do definitely still like the Bionic and kind of keeping it in the arsenal as an all-round cream. But that's basically what I'm using. Occasionally when I'm away travelling, I take a sample size of something else, a Chanel or whatever, to use up. But those are my creams at the moment. So I'd be very interested to have feedback if anyone else has used these products, particularly the Dr. Brandt, and what they think of them. Particularly any of those ladies out there who maybe use prescription grade retinol, and maybe have used Dr. Brandt as well, how they think it compares. That's likely to be our American friends, I'm guessing. Anyway, that's the skincare routine for the moment, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.